Welcome to GetMoreSports.com. I'm your analyst, William Whalen. Today we are talking about the Colorado Buffaloes of the Pac-12 Conference. Now, the Buffaloes are one of the more disappointing teams across the nation, sitting at 12-12 overall, just 5-7 in Pac-12 play. This was a team that was picked to finish third in the Pac-12 and be among the top 25 teams in the country in terms of a ranking perspective, and certainly many considered a lock for the NCAA tournament going into the season. Many people considered that this team would rebound from last year's disappointing finish and come into this year as a new team. That has not happened, and I'm here to tell you why. A year ago in January, Spencer Dinwiddie was one of the top point guards in college basketball, leading the Colorado Buffaloes into the top 20 in rankings, leading a home win over Kansas. Of course, his running mate in the backcourt, Askia Booker, hitting a memorable game-winning last-second shot. When Dinwiddie went down with an ACL tear at Washington, this team in Colorado disintegrated. They turned out to be just an average ball club, not able to overcome and swing over a couple wins in a row, overcome a couple losses in a row. And in the offseason, many considered it a blessing in disguise that they would get a look and a feel about how things would be like this year. However, it has not gone as expected. The common idea in college basketball is that a year older means a year better. That is not always the case. Colorado is a prime example of that. This group did not work on their game enough in the offseason. You do not see the massive improvements in shooting, in aggressiveness, in confidence on the basketball court that you would think you would out of a group that knew they were all going to get the opportunity to step up a little bit more, to get a few more offensive and defensive opportunities. That simply hasn't happened. The chemistry on this team is off. Askia Booker is one of the better small guards in college basketball when he's on. Now, he has been inconsistent his entire career. I think I need to give him a little bit of praise because he has been very good this year after a really rough stretch to start the year. This team has also dealt with injuries to Xavier Johnson, their starting small forward for much of the year. Starting center Josh Scott, who I and many others consider to be the best big man in the Pac-12 conference coming into this season. Now, also, freshman point guard Dominique Collier was thought to be a possible starter on this team early in the season, but he also dealt with injuries. So looking at that, it's not entirely hard to believe that this team is sitting at 500 and 5-7 in conference play. However, it's how they've done it. It's the uninspiring basketball that has been played. It is the constant feel that none of these guys enjoy playing with each other. Chemistry on this team is a tremendous issue, and it reignites the discussion in college basketball about talent versus experience versus chemistry versus coaching. Tad Boyle has not done a good job with this group. I don't think there's anybody that would argue to say that he has, and he wouldn't argue that he has either. He has been trying to figure it out all year. The question remains, though, can this team turn things around enough towards the end of the season to leave things on a positive note? They split a homestand this weekend against Cal and Stanford, losing to the Bears in inexplicable fashion, looking completely uninspired. Yet they come out and put forth a tremendous defensive effort against Stanford, not letting their poor shooting, under 33% from the field, affect their defense, and they beat the Cardinal by 6 at home. Now, their schedule coming down the stretch, they have a road trip to Oregon State, to Oregon, then they host the Arizona schools and finish off the year up in the Pacific Northwest, paying a visit to Washington and Washington State. That's 4 road games out of their last 6 for a team that has only run one road game all season. Can we expect them to do anything different? Now, it's going to be interesting because if they pull it together, and they've had a lot of success against Dana Altman teams in the past, if they can pull it together, they could play the role of spoiler this year leading into the Pac-12 tournament. Say you pick up a win at Oregon, mess with the Ducks' resume a little bit. Say you pick up a win at a struggling Washington team, maybe even sneak one in against Washington State, who's seen their mojo of early in the season kind of fade off. Steal one at home against Arizona State, and all of a sudden, you finished conference at 8-10 when you were sitting at 4-7 at one point. I think that would be a good finish for this team. Ultimately, it wouldn't be enough to give them any sort of shot at an NCAA tournament. I think we all know that. I think we've all accepted that. However, it would also put them at 15-15 overall and really give them a shot to string off a win or two in Las Vegas for the Pac-12 tournament, to maybe get into the NIT, head into the offseason with maybe a little bit of momentum. There's no question that this team is disappointed. It's not altogether clear why, but I think there are a multitude of reasons that have collided together to create a perfect storm. And this is a program that we all thought was trending upwards in the Pac-12. Recruiting has fallen off a little bit as well, though they do get transfer Josh Fortune eligible next year. The question is, do you buy stock in the Colorado basketball program right now? Do you buy stock that this group can come back next year as one cohesive unit and play for each other and play for a program that gave them all a shot at college basketball? I don't think we know the answer to that right now, obviously, but if last offseason is any question about telling us what we should know right now, I don't like the odds of it. I'm not saying that you should sell the Colorado Buffaloes right now, but there is a lot of concern in Boulder, and it is for good reason.